All right, so picture this. You're lounging on a pristine beach in Phuket. With those iconic limestone cliffs rising out of the turquoise waters. Paradise, right?
Sounds pretty nice.
Right. But what if I told you that scene, that perfect paradise scene, is just the backdrop for a real estate boom that's making waves far beyond those shores? That's what we're diving into today. The surge in Phuket's luxury real estate market and what it might tell us about global trends. We've got some fascinating sources for you today. We're going to take a deep dive into Assetwise, a Thai developer making quite a splash with these high-end condo projects aimed squarely at foreign buyers. They're calling it their new frontier strategy, a move beyond, that bustling heart of Bangkok to capture this new wave of investment.
Yeah, it's a really interesting trend for sure.
Yeah, it's not just about one company's success story, though. We're also going to unpack why Phuket is attracting this serious money from around the world and what that might signal for the future of real estate hotspots. So let's get started. Why is everyone suddenly clamoring for a piece of Phuket? I mean, beyond the obvious draw of its natural beauty, what's fueling this frenzy?
Well, yeah, the beaches and incredible food are certainly part of the allure, but there's a much bigger story here. The Thai government is making these huge strategic investments in Phuket's infrastructure. Like they're betting big on its future as a global destination.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, think about it. They've upgraded the Phuket International Airport, they're building a brand new Andaman airport, and they're pouring resources into expanding highways. These are not just cosmetic improvements, right?
Right.
They're laying the groundwork for sustained growth.
Okay, so the government is signaling that Phuket is open for business, but what does that mean for you, the potential investor, or simply the curious observer? What's the evidence that this isn't just hype?
Let's look at Assetwise and their new frontier strategy. It's not just about building condos in Phuket, it's about recognizing a shift in the global landscape and capitalizing on it. They're specifically targeting foreign buyers, recognizing that Phuket has become a magnet for this new generation of investors.
And it seems like that bet is paying off big time, right? Their title Cielo or Y projects sold out almost 90% within weeks of launch.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Who are these buyers primarily?
Yeah, you're right. That speed of sales is pretty much unheard of in most markets. And the buyer demographic is really fascinating, primarily Russians, Ukrainians, and Western Europeans. It indicates a global appetite for what Phuket offers, a sort of convergence of luxury, lifestyle, and investment opportunity.
So they're clearly onto something with this new frontier idea, but it's not just about one successful project. They've got a whole portfolio of developments underway, right?
Absolutely. They've partnered with Rombu Property, bringing in 12 years of local expertise, and together they're launching 4 massive projects. The title Tuelo Rawai is valued at 1.2 billion baht. Then there's the Modeva at a whopping 6.2 billion baht. The title Artrio Bang Tao for 2.6 billion, and Catabello in Keita coming in at 5.5 billion.
Wow.
That brings Assetwise's total portfolio in Phuket to 8 condo projects worth a staggering 31.5 billion baht. They're not just testing the waters anymore. They're diving in head first.
Those numbers are mind-blowing. It really shows how much confidence they have in Phuket's future. But is this just one company's success, or is the entire market experiencing this kind of growth?
This isn't an isolated phenomenon. The entire Phuket real estate market is booming, and the data tells a really compelling story.
Okay, let's hear it. What are the numbers saying?
Well, the Phuket Real Estate Association is projecting that property transfer value in the region will hit 33.73 billion baht in 2024, a 7.1% increase year on year. But here's where it gets really interesting. Condo sales have skyrocketed. We're talking 4,497 units sold in the first half of 2024 alone, which represents a 259.8% increase.
Whoa. So Assetwise is riding a wave that's lifting all boats. They're clearly savvy investors, but are they also a bit lucky to be in the right place at the right time?
I'd say it's a bit of both. They've demonstrated a keen understanding of emerging trends and a willingness to seize opportunities. But what's even more intriguing is that this boom isn't confined to the traditional hotspots.
Oh. What do you mean? Where else is the action happening?
Well, we're seeing these new areas emerge as the next big thing. Places like Charing Talay, Laon, and Thalang are suddenly attracting a lot of attention. These areas are transforming into new hotspots.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder what's driving this shift.
That's a great point. It's not just about finding any piece of Phuket. It's about understanding what makes certain locations suddenly become the fit places. Is it proximity to new developments, natural beauty that's been overlooked? What sparks that sudden desire?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? What transforms a location into the next big thing? And what does it tell us about the forces shaping the global real estate landscape?
You're right. This is about so much more than just beachfront condos. We're seeing how global trends, government policies, and savvy business decisions all converge to create these incredible opportunities. It's like a perfect storm of factors aligning to create a real estate gold rush. But let's not forget the bigger picture. This isn't just about investment returns, it's about the impact on a place and its people. So, in part two, we're going to dig a little deeper into the potential downsides of this boom. Is Phuket a model for sustainable real estate development, or is it a cautionary tale? Stay tuned.
Yeah, it's a question worth pondering.
Yeah.
Can a place experience this kind of rapid growth without some consequences? And that brings us to the potential downsides of this boom.
You're right. We can't just focus on the glitz and glamour without acknowledging the potential challenges. So what are some of the concerns that come with this kind of rapid development in a place like Phuket?
Well, one of the biggest worries is overdevelopment. Think about it. When a place becomes a hotspot, everyone wants a piece of the pie, right? But if development isn't managed carefully, it can really put a strain on resources and infrastructure. That can lead to, environmental damage, traffic congestion, and even a decline in the quality of life for the people who call Phuket home.
Yeah, it's like that old saying, too much of a good thing. You want growth and prosperity, but not at the expense of what makes a place, special in the first place. So how do you strike that balance? How do you ensure that development enhances Phuket rather than harming it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's a challenge that many rapidly developing areas face. It starts with responsible planning and zoning regulations. Governments need to establish clear guidelines for development that protect, sensitive areas, preserve green spaces, and ensure that infrastructure can keep pace with growth.
So it's not just about approving every project that comes along. It's about taking a long-term view, thinking about the sustainability of this growth and making sure it benefits everyone, not just developers and investors.
Exactly. And that requires collaboration between, governments, developers, and most importantly, the local community. Their input is crucial. After all, they're the ones who will be living with the consequences of these decisions for years to come.
It's about ensuring that development doesn't just cater to tourists and foreign investors, but also, respects and benefits the people who make Phuket what it is. But let's talk about another potential downside. With all this foreign investment pouring into Phuket, is there a risk that the local community could get priced out of their own homes?
That's a very real concern. And it's something we've seen happen in many desirable locations around the world. As property values skyrocket, it can become increasingly difficult for locals to afford to live in their own communities. It creates a sort of economic divide that can have long-term social consequences.
So how do you prevent a situation where Phuket becomes an exclusive enclave for the wealthy, a place where only the privileged can afford to live and enjoy its beauty?
It requires a multi-pronged approach. One strategy is to promote affordable housing initiatives. This could involve, government subsidies or encouraging developers to include a certain percentage of affordable units in their projects.
So it's about ensuring that there are housing options available for people at all income levels, not just those who can afford luxury condos. But what about those who are already struggling to make ends meet? What about renters who are seeing their rents skyrocket?
You're raising an important point. It's not just about homeownership. It's also about protecting renters' rights. That could involve implementing, rent control measures or eviction protections to ensure that people aren't displaced from their homes.
So it's about creating a safety net, making sure that everyone has access to safe and affordable housing regardless of their income level. But beyond housing, what about economic opportunities for locals? Are they benefiting from this boom?
That's another crucial aspect of sustainable development. It's not enough to just build condos and attract tourists. You need to invest in education and job training programs that provide locals with the skills they need to compete in this this evolving job market.
It's about empowering the local community, giving them the tools to to participate in and benefit from this economic growth rather than just being spectators. So it sounds like this boom is kind of a mixed bag. There's the potential for positive change, but also the risk of unintended consequences if things aren't managed carefully.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's a complex issue with no easy answers,
Yeah.
but it's a conversation that needs to continue not just in Phuket, but in any location experiencing rapid growth.
You're absolutely right. It's a global conversation that we need to be having, and it's a conversation that we'll continue to explore here on the deep dive. So while we've touched on the potential downsides, let's shift gears and talk about the positive impacts of this boom in part three. All right, so we've explored the potential downsides of Phuket's real estate boom, the risks of overdevelopment, the strain on resources, and that potential for locals to get priced out. But let's not forget there's another side to this story.
Absolutely. It's important to acknowledge that this influx of investment can also bring significant benefits to the local economy.
Okay, so let's talk about the upside. What are some of the positive impacts of this boom for Phuket and its people?
Well, for starters, it creates jobs. Construction projects require a huge workforce,
Hmm.
from laborers and engineers to architects and designers. And as new hotels, restaurants, and businesses open up to cater to this growing influx of tourists and residents, even more jobs are created across various sectors. It's a ripple effect that can boost the entire local economy.
So it's not just about luxury condos popping up. It's about a whole ecosystem of businesses and services that flourish as a result of this growth.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And as these businesses thrive, they generate tax revenue for the government. That revenue can then be used to improve public services like education, healthcare, and infrastructure. So in a way, this boom can create a virtuous cycle where investment leads to more investment and ultimately a better quality of life for everyone.
That's a really important point. It's not just about private wealth. It's about the potential for public good as well. But is there a risk that these benefits will only be felt by a select few? How do you ensure that this prosperity is shared equitably?
That goes back to what we discussed earlier about responsible development and community engagement. It's about making sure that the local workforce is equipped with the skills to participate in this new economy, that affordable housing options are available, and that small businesses have the opportunity to thrive alongside the larger developers.
So it's about creating a level playing field where everyone has a chance to benefit from this growth.
Exactly. And that requires a conscious effort from all stakeholders, the
Yeah.
government, developers, investors, and the community itself.
It sounds like a complex equation with a lot of moving parts. As we wrap up our deep dive into the Phuket real estate boom, what's the one key takeaway you want our listener to walk away with?
I think that the most important thing to remember is that real estate is never just about, bricks and mortar. It's about people, communities, and the forces that shape our world. Whether you're an investor, a resident, or simply someone fascinated by global trends, understanding those forces is key to making sense of it all.
That's a powerful thought. It's not just about buying a piece of paradise. It's about understanding the complexities behind it,
Yeah.
the economics, the social impact, the environmental considerations. It's all intertwined.
And it's constantly evolving. What's happening in Phuket today could be a preview of what's to come in other parts of the world. Who knows? Maybe our listener will be the one to spot the next big real estate opportunity by applying the insights they've gained from our deep dive.
That's right. Maybe they'll be the ones to identify the next Phuket before it explodes in value. And if you do, be sure to let us know because we're always on the lookout for for fascinating stories to explore. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.